All right. So, good evening. I now call this meeting to order. It is March 18th, 6:36 p.m. I apologize for the late start. We had some technical difficulties, but we got it all under control now. So first, I'll call this meeting to order. Second, establish quorum. I have Commissioner Dr. Howe, Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Dr. Saldana, Commissioner Martinez, and myself, Mayor Montoya. We do have a quorum. As far as the invocation, Commissioner Martinez, if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Okay. Guys. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord God. We come before you and ask for your grace and wisdom upon this commission, Lord God, and upon our city. Pray for every citizen, Lord God, and every leader, Lord God. We pray that you show us the path, Lord. May the purpose be revealed to us today, Lord, that we guide our city in the right direction. We pray for peace and prosperity over this beautiful city of ours. In your name we pray. Amen.
Commissioner Howe, you wouldn't mind leading us in pledge, sir?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now for open forum, we have nobody signed up. So we'll move on to item 6, consent agenda. We only have the minutes this time.
I move we approve the minutes for the meeting held on March 4th.
I have a motion by Commissioner Saldana, second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7, management approval of appointments for the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Mr. Mayor, I would, I guess as background, we had a resignation on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we've had another candidate that has expressed interest in that, Michael Rivera. And so my motion would be that we appoint him to fill that vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Dr. Saldana. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7B, approval to accept the certification of unopposed candidates for the May 2025 election.
Is there,
Mayor, if you look at the information that was provided, there's obviously some savings there that Jocelyn's gonna go. Cost avoidance, actually.
So the first item is we need to certify that the candidates are unopposed, and that's the first item to accept the certification of unopposed candidates, which is required by the Texas Election Code.
So on the deal, we just have to say that we certify that the candidates are unopposed.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Right, Mayor, well, I make a motion that we certify that the two candidates are unopposed.
I have a motion by Commissioner Martinez. Do I have a second?
second,
Second by Commissioner Howell, Dr. Howell. All those in favor say aye.
quick question, Mayor.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Would this mean that we could cancel the election then?
That's
The
the
next
next one.
step would be to
That's the next
cancel the
item.
election.
Perfect. Okay, great.
So moving on to item 7C, approval to cancel the May 2025 elections for Commissioner Place 2 and Place 4. I'd like to entertain a motion for that.
Mayor, I make a motion to, I guess would be to accept the candidates and to go ahead and eliminate I guess the election
I have a motion by Dr. Howell. Do I have
for
a second?
savings purposes. For note, please.
I have a motion by Commissioner Howell. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
As a point of information, Mr. Mayor, how much does that save us?
38,000?
It's 45,000 is what we had budgeted. In the last election, we spent about 42.
So an estimation about between 42 and 45. So we can just have that in the notes as well.
Use that for
Yes.
something beneficial.
Of course, there'll be the reasoning as well behind it. That's logic. We connect the dots.
So moving on to item 8, bids and contracts. We have item 8A, approval of E-rate Category 2 bids for the library.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I am applying for Category 2 federal funds this year for our equipment and our drops for the library, the internet drops to connect. So we do have $51,750 available in our Category 2 budget, which is a federal fund. So, however, I do have to open the process up for bids, which we did, and we did receive various bids, but after reviewing the bids and tabulating them, we did select, and with the help of IT as well, we did select Taggle Rock for the equipment, for the majority of the equipment, which are like firewalls and switches, things like that. Vmos just for the battery backup to make sure that our equipment will work if there's a power outage. And then HL Solutions for the 43 drops that would be needed for our different computers or different devices that we have. Each one, we will be responsible for 15%. So in total, when you put that all together, we would be responsible for $10,015 as opposed to the $45,791 that it would actually cost if we did not get E-rate. But this being said, I do have to file, if it's approved, the Form 471, which would be the next step. I have to file it by March 26th and send letters to all the vendors that were selected. Then E-rate goes through reviewing the applications, and then they would award us. The earliest would be in July, but I don't have to use the funding until September 2026. That's like the last date I can use it. So I could this could be budgeted for next fiscal year, but the application would be in already.
So just to be clear, what you need from us, if we agree to it, is you need not only for us to vote for the grant, but that it be what by March 26th? has to
That
be a
I can
caveat to it.
apply for this by March 26th with these vendors being the selected ones because they're the lowest bidders.
Do you have the funds budgeted now, or is that why
No,
you're?
because it would be for next fiscal. We don't have it now. Like if we are awarded in July, we don't have sufficient funds to cover it.
I know where there's 45,000.
We just got somebody saved right now.
No.
So let's reword that, Mayor. That election thing was cost savings, not, I mean, sorry,
Not additional revenue.
cost avoidance.
Avoidance.
Cost avoidance is different from savings.
I'm sorry.
So we would be budgeting
Pass it
for
up.
next year with IT.
And E-rate, I didn't know what that was, so, and I didn't want to sound dumb, so I went and started searching it up, but that's federal FCC funds.
Yes. That
Correct?
are provided to schools and libraries.
Okay.
So that we can provide
Internet service.
appropriate internet services and secure and have enough of a speed available for our residents and our students for the schools. You know, like we don't want them to be at 100. We want them to be at 500, or some are already at a gig. Some are already at 10 gigs. So we just want to make sure that we're staying competitive.
How long
and-
does this hold us up for? I mean, how long would the,
So these are cycles like every 5 years.
5 years, okay.
So we would have this equipment for 5 years or thereabout, and then we would apply again if necessary.
So you 500 gigs is what you're getting right now?
Mhm.
What you're gonna get with the new equipment?
No, 500 gigs is what we're at for internet.
okay.
We're
Because
locked in there for I think 2 more years.
yeah, that e-file thing is meant for us to keep up with the rest of the world, right? So that's people, smaller
Right.
agencies, smaller can keep
Yes.
up with the rest of them. All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I move that we authorize her to apply for the grants, and that we direct the city manager to work with her to find the funds either this year or next year. How about that?
And I think
I like
also
that.
to accept, and to accept the vendors, right?
To accept the vendors, yeah.
All right, so I have a motion by Dr. Saldana. Do I have a second? Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on. Thank you, ma'am. Good job, by the way. Number 8, bids and contracts agreement for specialized professional ambulance billing services. Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. For the record, Fire Chief Javier Campos. So the Mercedes Fire Department Management is recommending approval of the agreement for specialized professional ambulance billing, which is Emergicon Emergency Medical Billing, to take over management of our EMS billing operations. Our current EMS billing service contract will end 5/31 of this year. And after thorough evaluation and several options, it is clear that Emergicon stands out as a provider with the expertise and resources needed to streamline our billing process, enhance our revenue collection, which you'll see shortly, and provide an overall more efficient solution to our EMS services. A couple of benefits is increased revenues, like I talked about, cost effectiveness, professional management, and customer service. So we strongly believe that partnering with Emergicon will significantly improve our EMS billing operations and increase revenue generation by maintaining high level of service to the public. So before I move forward, we have Brent from Emergicon who can explain a little bit about who they are and where they come from and what they can do for our services.
Welcome, Brent.
Thank you, guys. Good evening, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I am Brent Irving, Director of Client Development for Emergicon, and if I can I give you a brief overview of kind of what Emergicon is, how we were founded, et cetera, and then go into some of the specialized things that we do. So Emergicon, we are a Texas-based EMS billing company. Our brick and mortar is in Terrell, Texas, and we only operate in Texas. So we are the largest EMS billing company in Texas, and our firm, our company serves more than 200 Texas EMS providers across the state with an annual collections of just over 200 million. We were founded in 2006, so we're in our 19th year of doing business, and our reputation just exceeds with our clients. Expectations in terms of cash collections and customer service, as Chief had mentioned. We will handle all aspects of EMS account management to include coding, billing, payment posting, accounts receivables, which will include follow-ups, compliance, and medical records requests, which will include attorney requests as well. So as you can imagine, each state has its own unique rules when it comes to EMS billing. So when we operate just in Texas, we're experts. So we draw on this expertise to avoid improperly filing claims, and we optimize our client reimbursements and collections. So unlike our competitors, we devote more resources to billing. Basically, to sum it up, we use humans, not computers, to read and code EMS charts. We ensure that every claim and payer response is complete and accurate to pursue each of those claims for maximum reimbursement. As I mentioned, the 200 plus clients across the state of Texas continue to be our best referral source. Actually, I believe you have a neighbor, which is going to be Mission, that you guys have spoken to, and they would attest to our commitment to the highest level of service and recording of setting cash collections. Not only do we provide outstanding customer service, but to accentuate that, we provide each of our clients with a dedicated client success specialist and account manager who will be available for any and all needs. We have a single source email address, and we have a single source phone number as well. So we will not only increase your revenues, but one of the ways we're going to do it, we're going to get you credentialed with on an average of 175 different payers out there, far more than any other competitors do. This credentialing allows for reimbursements from sources otherwise frequently missed. In addition to that, we partner with Port Aransas EMS each year to deliver some continuing education opportunities for your staff and crews. It's actually coming up in May, and it's called Education by the Sea. We highly encourage to at least send a few folks to it. We try to minimize the cost for all attendees. With that being said, that kind of concludes the overview of what Emergicon is, and with the data that the chief has provided to us, and obviously being the largest in Texas in a database that we reference, we have projected that we will increase your revenues. Currently, you're making somewhere around $399,500 a year. We'll increase your take home to just right at $825,000 a year.
Ready for questions?
And this would be at a 10% commission rate.
Yeah, and I think that was even lower than the original. At the end of the day, it comes out at a better rate than what we had.
Yeah, so
before.
yeah, at the end of the day, so if you look at this page, behind the contract, if you see this page, I kind of broke it down, maybe you saw it. So our current biller, she's paid 40,000 a year plus 7,000 as far as software. With the revenues she's bringing in, she's like at 11.9%, and that's bringing in the 399,000. With the
She's paid
MergerCon,
a
with the
flat
payer,
rate?
what's that? A flat rate.
She's played a flat rate.
Yeah, flat rate. With the MergerCon, we provided the payer mix, the number of calls, the breakdown, and they're projecting 825,000. So 10% of that would be the 82,500, but our revenues would be now at 742,000. So yes, we pay more for the services, but the revenues it would come back a lot more.
Every time I was reading through it, I'd have a question and I read a little bit longer and the answer was there. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had a question, I guess, just to kind of rephrase it.
Hang on a second.
Go
Go ahead, Doc.
So the current cost for expenditure is what, Chief?
So we pay her contract, it's 40,000 a year.
Okay.
And we also pay the billing software on behalf of the EMS department. That's
An additional cost.
additional cost 7,300. So it's a total of 47,728.
Like 48, right, rounded out more or
48,000.
less.
Yes.
And now the second question is, now what would be the operational savings if we went with this people, with this
Yeah.
company,
The operational savings.
or the cost savings?
So what
This can be a little bit more.
it's
you're
gonna-
saying, but
because
we're
of
gonna bring in
because of
more revenue.
because of the more revenue. Obviously, we're gonna pay more, but the revenue will be in.
Plus a 2% cost saving.
Yes.
1.5%. Correct.
I think it's a great proposal. So I'm gonna ask a few questions that may not sound like I believe that. I'm just curious about it. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be a downside to this because it incentivizes them hustling for more money. And it's a lower percentage than we're paying now, from 12 to 10. Revenues go up, and if they put more in their pocket, that's fine with me, so long as we get more too, which is what you were mentioning. But I guess is this a biddable sort of contract, or how does that work?
So we spoke to the state representative. Since it's emergency services, there's a continuity of
Okay.
services that needs to be done because it's tied into our license with the state. So under the statute, it's considered emergency services, so
Emergency
it doesn't have to be
So you
bidded.
can just contract.
Correct,
You can bid
yes.
if you want, but you don't have to.
Correct,
by-
yes.
By statute.
Yes, sir.
What, and maybe this is a question for your guest, is what would he account, now if we're just paying a flat rate to the current biller and there's no tie to performance, then it would seem like so long as you just kind of go through the motions, you get paid and you collect whatever you're going to collect. So I think I know the answer to the question, but what would account for their higher revenue, how their success compared to what we have right now? And then I got one more after that.
So Brent, if you may, if you want to,
Did, I think I heard the question, how do we, how do we collect these extra dollars?
Right.
So that's back in the, so the bottom line is we're going to get you credentialed with many more payers out there than what you're credentialed with right now. And we use the humans instead of automation. So we're going to find those payers that necessarily aren't, they're being missed right now. So those would be going into a private pay bucket that typically don't yield you any money whatsoever. So that's how we do it. Just to sum it up in a nice, neat package for you.
Okay. And where are we at with revenue? I mean, with the payments? I thought at one time we were like at 60% or something like that. or-
payments back to.
Right. In other
the-
words, of the percentage, yeah, the collection rate of what we bill versus what we get.
So the collection rate, we were at as close to 60%, but with this proposal, if you see it, there's gonna be an increase to, if you look at page, there would be a proposed increased fee per call that we're able to tag to the call so we can make more revenue. So the percentage will be there, but that's how we're gonna get a lot more increase on it. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna assume we're gonna, so if we're trying to collect, say, 1 million and we're collecting 300,000, that would be 30%, right? I don't know how much it is. And if we're gonna be at 90%, at 900,000, then does that mean it's a 90% collection
So-
rate or am I misunderstanding?
On the administration side, that was one of our concerns why we moved forward with the MergerCon,
Yeah.
because our current company wasn't providing as much accuracy as we were asking for.
Okay,
And during our 4 to 5 year process, when we needed to talk about where we're at on our operations, we focused on our billing operations. We started, looking into, okay, where are we at, where we need to be, and we weren't where we needed to be. Okay. The number was 60%. I'm not sure how accurate that was,
okay.
which we started. Now we need to move forward on what can we do to improve it.
yeah.
So the administration part, yes, it's very critical.
We're at 60 and we're not real sure that's even right.
Correct. So this management part, they'll provide us weekly reports, monthly reports,
Good.
graphs. We'll be able to be on time on our quarterly reports. I believe there is a concern on the aging reports that were submitted to our finance department, and I'm more sure our finance department can contest to that. So that was also a concern, which is, we had eyes on it, but we had to make the years play out because we wanted to see where we're at as a business. We knew that was a concern, which is why we decided to go this route.
I'll be able to buy yourself a whole new ambulance for that.
I
extra
think we could
money.
buy 2 of them.
2 of them.
So I've got a
I
few
think you-
questions. Who really needs to go to this training that's being offered?
I would send just your firefighter paramedics to that training.
All of them?
Our administration staff, we're gonna send the personnel that are part of the QA process that deal one-on-one with the documentation and the ones that submit actually to ESO.
My next question is, how long are you gonna be, is it gonna take you to get ready to start working? Like, let's say this is approved tonight, contract ends in May. Are you gonna be ready May 1, May 30th, or June 1, or what?
That is true. We can go live with your billing services on May 1st.
So the plan is, so it's gonna be a 30, 45 day credentialing process. So our plan is by 5/1 for them to start live, and that would be our last month of our current biller. And their job that last month is to close all previous reports because she's on a 3 month span right now.
Okay, and what are the key performance measures that you're gonna be tracking? Do we have a list of that?
Yes. You have that on that email, the key performance measures?
No, I don't have it. I don't have
Balance
it.
sum, number 9?
It's on the contract, right?
So where does that tell me what the percent of collections is and how much is outstanding?
Which page are you on? Sir?
I'm looking at the number 9, the detail in the month reports, or is there a different one?
Yeah, you're on. Well, here it is. So that is balance summary, executive summary, monthly charge report, credit reports. Is that what you're asking for?
Well, what I'm looking for is, how do we know the, what the total outstanding delinquency is, or that we're going at, that he's gonna go after? And how do we track what percentage he's actually collecting month to month, year to date? So that we have a measurement to measure him by, so that we can compare and say, this is making sense and he's on target.
So that's part of the monthly report, and that's when I met with Mission Fire Department. That was one of my main concerns: is what do they present to you in a monthly report? So they'll give you an actual professional chart, not just an Excel spreadsheet, but a chart that says how much we billed,
Right?
how much we
Collected.
brought in, collected, and how much we have, percentages, and the payer mix and all that. So we're gonna get an actual monthly report, a professional monthly report from Emergicon, letting us know those stats. So
Okay, so I'm assuming he's gonna take over some outstanding obligations or bills that are kind of aged.
those would be at a cost.
Okay, is there a point where you write those off as uncollectible, or is there a limit to how far back you go?
Yeah, yes, sir. So that'll have to do with timely filing. So Medicare will have a timeline, Medicaid will have one, and then your commercial payers as well. And the reports that Chief is talking about, there's going to be 8 specific reports that you'll get each month. So it'll be from a balance summary, an executive summary. You'll get a monthly charge report, and then you're going to get a monthly credit report, and then you're going to get a monthly charge detailed report. You're going to get an aged accounts receivable. You'll get a payer activity summary, and then you'll get an invoice summary. And on top of those 8 reports, you're also going to get access to a dashboard as well. So you're going to get more reports than you probably care to
Still
get.
not seeing a percent of collection report. Like,
What was billed, what was collected?
yeah,
That's what he said was,
Yeah.
I heard it, that's what he said.
How long is the contract for, sir?
So it's
What's the proposal?
It's a 1-year contract, and it automatically renews unless we get out. Okay.
So the end of that year, you kind of tell us, yeah, we like it, everything's working out, we'll get the reports, and so how do you feel about it?
Yeah,
you
so-
want this, you like this?
No, we're all confident, and the main thing is the overall the management, the aspect on it.
Mayor, Honorable Commissioner, I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by Dr. Saldana, Dr. Howell, that was second.
I have a second and one more question.
All right, go ahead, second. I have Dr. Saldana, and another
There's
question.
item 19 in the resolution has a non-solicitation, non-competition clause that extends 2 years after the end of the agreement and requires the city to replace any employee's salary times 2.
Can't steal any of their workers.
Can't
You
steal
can't
any
steal
of their
any workers,
workers
vice
or any of
versa.
that kind of stuff.
So that's common
Is-
on
is
a
it-
lot
that's
of.
a two-way street or
That's
just a
common on-
one-way
Yeah,
street?
that's standard practice when it comes to building. So we can't hire anybody from Emergicon, and then they can't come hire our finance side on their side. So
Okay, so that's both ways.
yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, all right, that's all I have.
I have all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to,
Thank you, chief. Good job.
thank you, sir.
way to handle the barrage. So, moving on to Dr. Saldana's, the crush truck came. So, Dr. Saldana's favorite spot, monthly reports, monthly departmental reports.
We there already?
Yes, sir. So planning, very interesting, by the way. Anybody here from planning?
Got Mr. Pettis?
How are things going?
Puro record. Puro
Record breaking.
maravilla.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Things are going as far as the projects, everything's, going as planned. Right now, we're working on the business licenses, getting all the current businesses updated or current. That's a lot of the establishments here didn't have a business license or never had one, so we're in the process of getting them, sending them letters, making contact, and they've been very forthcoming. coming into the office and I mean, understanding why they need it. So, I mean, that's been going smoothly. On the code side, everything's, I mean, going as planned. I mean, I think we don't get that many complaints from residents. I mean, as when I first started here, I think that's going smoothly. I mean, everything's on the up and up.
I've noticed that some of the numbers have almost doubled and I don't know if it's due to productivity or just enforcing things we hadn't enforced before or a mixture
A
of
little
both.
of both, and having an extra one, I think it's helped that too.
Helped out a lot.
Yeah.
I
So,
had 3 people, totally different people, comment to me about how user-friendly the city of Mercedes is and how helpful they've been and how they've even moved some of their investment, some of their development activities towards Mercedes because of I don't want to say how easy, but how they get cooperation, they get good communication, and that's a credit to the folks that you have there.
yeah, it's just
working
being
with them.
proactive and offering good customer service
Yeah.
to our residents.
And they were there at some of the ribbon cutting kinds of activities. So it's clear that there's good relationships between
Yes.
them and some of the developers. So I think that's just a really good sign, and we want more of that.
And where I was going with the numbers was, and this is old stuff, and I only bring it up because I don't know if it's changed. And once I saw the report, I said, oh, that's the question that came to mind. Some of the smaller things that we had problems with, including myself when I had to redo my house, was I always wanted to see where, and preferably where they could do it on the internet, where somebody, and I can tell you some horror stories of people just trying to get a permit. I must have come 5 times and say, is this the last permit? They tell me yes.
Yes.
And one time I almost had to knock half my house down because they wanted to see my nail patterns. And I was like, okay, I was told 3 inspections ago that it was the last one, right? So
Uh-huh.
anyway, so I know that some of that is improved. I'm glad.
Yes.
One of the other things is time-wise, we had some that came trying to do something for 2 years and they still hadn't, struggling to get through some of the processes, whether it's yes or no, they just wanted an answer,
Yes.
right? So I'm guessing from the lack of complaints that some of that's gone away too. I know at one point we had discussed to bring it down to a month. I don't know if that's pie in the sky or that's if we're there or if we're close to it or whatever. But that's what we wanted to see is a good turnaround because of that effect. The net effect is what he's talking about. I was having lunch the other day at Papado's and the people that were at the table kept stopping, it's a political place, right? And they were just stopping by to tell me, hey man, things at Mercedes are really looking up, blah, blah, blah. We want to move over there just the same as he's going through. So I just wanted to either one, commend you, but then also ask if you're seeing that trend. Are we improving there?
Yeah, we're improving. Like I said, slowly but surely we're getting there. I mean, is it where it's going to be? I mean, like I said, every day it's learning. It's getting to making the process a lot simpler for the residents, for ourselves. It's all about simplifying the process of going forward in everything that we do.
Can people already apply for a permit and pay online?
Not yet.
But it's
like
something
things
that's
like
one of
that.
our
Like
goals?
that's where we're headed. That's what I want.
Okay, all right.
Sooner is better.
Yeah,
So one of the things they're doing, for example, recently they went through the mall and they validated or verified who had been coming in or not to the city
I read that.
for the permits, okay? We're doing that with every entity, like the livestock show, we're gonna go through that process. What they're doing is grabbing sales tax numbers, we're comparing, have they been here before, how long, and have they been paying taxes in Mercedes or not? So we can address those issues. So there shouldn't be a discrepancy of them coming through the permit process and having a permit to operate in the city of Mercedes, and that they're required to pay sales tax, that they're doing so also. So all those dots are being connected.
Yeah, I like I said, I've been listening to what he's been telling us about that, and I've also been looking at, especially these reports, these really nice reports, and you could just see something, some kind of wheels really working. And those little things, not to complain because I really liked it. It's just that when you see something good happening, right, that's when people jump on board, right? And that's what I'm doing. So don't think I'm bashing the report. It's a great report. I just want to know what our goal is. If our end goal is to get it to where, another example is we had a person come trying to pay and we wouldn't take it because the money order was wrong and they
Yeah,
wouldn't
like
take
little things
cash
like
and-
that. I think, like I said, I want to kind of make it a little bit better, user friendly for the residents as far as payments, things like that. In the past, it was like they had to go here, had to go there, like little things like that that I think could be simplified.
One
going
stop
forward.
shop.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I don't, and where are we on, do we have on a list, two things, what we charge per situation?
We have it in the website, but I think we could, I guess, have it there. We could, I guess, post it there on the wall for people that come in.
Yeah, and
Like the
make sure
fees.
that it's some, again, the stuff I'm telling you is real elementary stuff because it's what gets us jammed up. We had a guy come in to go price somebody replacing some tiles on his roof, and we were charging him $800 for a new roof for his permit because that's what it said on the old paper, and so that we had to get
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
involved.
I think we could update it and have it more
Okay.
visible.
That would be a great idea. And then lastly, if we had a list of all the inspections and we handed that to everybody who comes in the very first time and say, look, there's no surprises. This is what you're gonna get hit with going forward, you know, those kind of things, because like I said, you can see the activity. The activity is strong. So anyway, that's all I got. Sorry about that, guys.
Two other things. One is that I learned that the permitting, there's no penalty for anyone that fails to pull a permit, or at least that's what I understood.
Well, I think what I told from Alvaro de Leon, he said that they double the permit fee.
They don't.
They
So there
double
is a
it.
penalty.
Yeah, there is a penalty.
Good.
Yeah.
Now you can, because there has to be an incentive for people to come in and do it the right way. And if people are not going to come, if they're going to just wait to be caught, and there's no penalty for getting
Yeah,
caught.
but I spoke with Mr. De Leon, he said they double the permit
Good.
fee.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
The other is when's P&Z? I heard they had a meeting Thursday, but that got
Yeah,
canceled.
canceled. Yeah,
So
based
we got
on
one
the-
coming up here pretty quick.
I think it's this Monday.
This
Because
coming
ba-
Monday?
I think it got canceled because of the guy that resigned, Mr. George.
They didn't
Oh.
have quorum.
Oh, they didn't have a quorum.
yeah.
I got you. Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. Man, I'm liking it. It's good stuff. Thank you.
Yep, very good stuff. All right, thank you. Next.
I want to commend the library for their 2024 Achievement of Excellence in Libraries Award. Congratulations to y'all. I don't hear a resounding applause. Not the first and not the last, but certainly worth recognizing. So congratulations to you on that.
Finance and monthly reports, anything good or bad to tell us about? Y'all might as well get used to it, because
Sorry, we don't have a red carpet, but we do have a working mic.
Not too much red already. So good evening. So I know that our staff has, well, myself, we've been behind on the monthly reports. So I try my best to change now. So the way that I'm gonna be reporting to me is gonna be like the key points, which is the sales tax, our revenue, and then the money that we had spent throughout the month, how many invoices we processed, purchase orders, stuff like that. I'm still working with municipal court because there was some discrepancy on the revenue report, but I'll show it on the following. So on the sales tax, I think I uploaded it incorrect. I don't know if you guys got the copy of the sales tax report. They did? So I changed it completely to where you can see now, like the graphs within one page instead of like different ones. And, you know, I think it's more user friendly, you know, to see, you know, how much money we got from last year to this year. And we're still a little bit down, but that's normal. Like throughout the whole year, it'll go up, and we'll make the projection as we projected.
I like the report, by the way. So thank you for that.
Where are we at? I mean, what percent completion are we with the audit?
The audit, I will say maybe like 80%. I know that there's a gentleman that it's gonna help us out with some entries for the end of the year. I know he had some family issues, so I'm waiting for him to contact us. And I sent an email today just to make sure that we're on track and whatever we need to provide. But we've been
So
little
when would
busy.
you project
So
we
we were
might have
projecting
some?
to finish it by the end of this month, but since that put us behind, the gentleman having that issue, maybe another 2 weeks. So I'm
Before
just
it
trying
comes
to
to
confirm.
commission?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, before it comes to commission. but-
middle of
Or
April.
State of the city.
Yeah, well, I'm trying for that. We're trying our best. I mean, it's been rough in finance, but we're trying.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. IT, want to come talk to us a little bit about what we're seeing here? I saw you pushing buttons over there on that screen, so
Went down there to see if you'd climbed up on the light poles to put those cameras up that we authorized 2 weeks ago.
We are actually, sent a letter out to Magic Valley. They were looking to hopefully have one donated so that way we can install our own.
great.
So I'm just waiting on the responses for that. That way we can move forward with that project. So as you see, we are continuing to move forward with our agenda software. We had some laptops that we hadn't been utilizing that, so we got those out here. It's not fully operational, but yeah, ideally what's going to happen as time runs by is you'll all be doing the voting, and it's going to automatically sync up to as you're doing the agenda items, right? And then kind of to add on to the ease of use for our residents, this is kind of tipping my hat a little bit, I guess, but the website is coming along. And so that is going to be a process that's going to allow for residents to actually have some more ease of use when actually filling out any of our permits, paperwork, open records requests and stuff like that. So we're continuing to move forward on our ease of use for the residents.
Like they'll be able to pay citations, all that
Yes.
stuff. That'd be great.
That's the goal.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody got questions? for IT?
So on the exposure side, from the security side, we're good, we're solid, we haven't missed a step. We haven't had any infiltration or loss
No,
of
we have
data?
not had any sort of incident as of yet. Knock on wood. We're staying on top of it. Juan and I.
South America to hijack our.
I don't want to jinx too much of
City
it.
had a problem.
So Juan and I have been on top of keeping our firewall and making sure, like, if there's anybody trying to poke around inside our network, we're just taking the ban hammer on that and making sure it's not allowed through the network. And our cybersecurity practice, we are pushing out our phishing emails that are they're fake phishing emails. That way, it brings more awareness to the employees. That way we can bring more awareness to it all and just in general, and just stay on top of that fact, because it's easy. I'm sure you're aware, the big scam right now is the toll fee one, right? So I've actually been looking into that one and did some reading into it and did a little more investigation, and saw that it can go ways beyond that what we're expecting. And one of those things is if you actually just have that text on your device, it takes over the device itself, right? So if by chance residents are hearing this, and anybody here, if you get those texts, just delete it automatically. Don't even report it, just delete it, because we don't want to take that chance.
I've gotten that before.
Yes.
Like the Florida toll.
Yes. I just drove back from Austin yesterday, and I happened to drive through a toll on accident. My wife received the notification on her cell phone. I was like, no, there's no way that it's it's active already. That's a scam email. Just go ahead and delete it. So it's very common right now. That's what's big in the landscape for cybersecurity.
Good thing about toll roads, they still snail mail it to
Yes. Yeah. All fees will be sent through the mail.
you. I just want you to know, don't think we're not noticing all that stuff that's going on. So we've come a long ways, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else got anything? Thank you, brother. Fire department monthly report. Got anything for us, chief, of any significance?
Big toys?
Brush truck.
So brush truck, I showed Mr. Pettis the progress on it. Hopefully within 1 more month, that should be ready to go, as well as the ambulance. Once that ambulance is ready, we'll pick it up, and we'll be bringing back the old chassis with it. Plan is to send it over to Public Works for Tom to add to his fleet. Not sure what his project is on that one. So other than that, it's all the report. The chassis, yes.
Brand new vehicle for Public Works.
So another vehicle for Tom.
I
And
like
then
the
on the-
teamwork.
Yeah.
Chief, I hate to be the dead horse, but I've done it the last 3 or 4 hurricane seasons, and I always go before hurricane season, but people signing up through the water department for Code Red.
Code Red. Yeah, we
I don't know
tried.
how else to
It's-
say it,
it's
but we need
tough.
to force people on there because I get a lot of questions still. One that I think we can take care of today, and I'm not joking. I don't know how many other people get complaints, but we have got to send something out to people and tell them, hey, man, we're going to block Texas again for another parade. This is how you're going to get to the restroom if you need to go home. Because I get those calls all the time, and the older people are the ones that let me have it. So I don't know. I mean, we've really got to get. I don't mind them getting mad for us signing them up on whether they like it or not, and let them opting out. Because I think if it's something we can do, if we can legally do it, that's what I'd like to see before hurricane season if we could.
Okay,
Go
I know
ahead.
Mike has something
Team.
on the
Perfect.
notification system.
Yes, actually, the reason why we can't just add those residents is it's state law that we can't just, they have to opt in, unfortunately, to those type of notifications. And so I can't just add them, unfortunately. So, but we do have a
Pause.
software that's tied to the Civic Plus side of it that is going to allow us to do those general notifications aside from the emergency status. So that one, I just need to get some more information. That way I can add that to the system. And then I'm hoping by maybe May, I can have that full operational. That way we can report water leaks, the parades in this instance, road closures. If there's happens to be an active shooter or something, we can use the emergency system on side of that.
So the law that controls that, you're talking about pause, and what the law that controls is how many times you can use it, not whether you can sign people up or not. People can opt out of it. So, I mean, if you guys make contact with Assistant AMC Guerra over there in McAllen, I know that they're doing it in McAllen. And I know he's willing to go talk anywhere. I mean, that's been a big pet peeve of mine since I was the emergency manager. I'm talking about 12 years ago. So I don't want to break any laws, but the people, it's going to pay dividends. I guarantee you, if we find a way to do it legally. So I just implore you guys to try and get on that thing so that we can advise people. And road closures is one of the ones that are allowable. So I just, again, it's something that, and I hate to pick on you, Chief, but you would be the one that uses it the most probably. And that's the reason I hit you up. And I'm glad that IT's involved, because normally they wash their hands of it and give it to the fire department or emergency management. So I think with you two guys together, we might be able to get this thing done. I want to know a little bit more about what you're talking about later on. Doesn't have to be now, on how you can send information out. If there's a better way, I'm all for it. We don't have to pay for Code Red, but we are paying for it. So
I understood Code Red was gonna get phased out and move towards the Civic Plus,
the
once we get
plan.
that running.
Civic
but
Plus
y'all
has
have-
its own its own area.
That's the plan.
Has its own notification.
And does that adopt the what's in Civic Plus? Like, is Civic Plus also with the water department, addresses, phone numbers, all that, or?
So when I was talking to the representative, that was one of my questions, is how I can pull that information from our utilities to add them. And that's when they gave me the information about that the residents have to opt in. I can reach out to them again, see if there's a different way to go about it. That way we can.
They may be right. Maybe the private sector can't, but the pause system can. The
I
emergency
know that was
notification system can.
One of the questions they did ask if we had, if we were
Members of it.
members of the pause, correct?
Okay. Yeah. As long as I put it back on the radar, because hopefully we're not talking about it again in June. I really want to find a way to give people information, emerge services. And again, Chief, I apologize that it's always you that I pick
No,
on it,
it's
because I
fine.
know you try.
I guess since I have the mic on the fire department side, we're still averaging our response times from dispatch to arrival 7 minutes and 53 seconds. And it's not only the city limits, it's rural areas, so that's huge.
What was that,
for
Chief? What was the number?
7 minutes and 53
Wow.
seconds. So that's part of our our response. So, and it's all the way to mile 14 and a half, and then all the way to the river. So those are good times. And on the EMS side, the way we calculate is out of the chute, which is out of the bays, out of the station, and we're at 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So it's very good on our side. The management part, our lieutenants are on top of our guys and they're responding to these calls. So it's grass fire season. So we've been active, we've been busy. We've been getting a lot of requests from other agencies, not only on our incident management side, on myself, on the fire marshal to go help out other agencies on resources, but on the drone operations. And yesterday we went live on our UTV that has a fire pump on it. So that got broadcasted to all fire chiefs in the valley, and that's going to be another resource for the agency. So we're happy about that.
Your part playing teamwork
Yes.
over there in all the areas. I heard from the river all the way to Edinburgh. Good
Yes,
job,
yes.
by the way.
Appreciate it. Thank
A
you.
lot of compliments. Thank you, Chief. City Secretary and HR. Oh, together. What y'all got? We didn't have y'all get dressed up for nothing.
This,
Take a picture.
We took pictures today. I don't know if you have questions for us. My numbers are there. We have 2 agendas that we did last month in February, 2 sets of minutes, 2 ordinances, 2 resolutions, no contracts, no bids. Sound and dance permits, we had 3, TABC licenses 1, filing with the state on vital statistics, those are the death certificates that come in. We had 6, we issued 40 birth certificates, issued 4 death certificates. We had 2 vehicle claims and 2 liability claims. We received 32 open records requests and responded to 29.
You got any outstanding, or that we posted bid for bids? Like, we still
We
have
do.
Dakota?
We're gonna be going, out bid once we see the packet from the engineer.
Specification?
The specifications.
How far are we from that?
They said they probably need another 2
With Dakota?
We do have one more bid that's outstanding that we went out for. It was the, check here. The sewer expansion,
Yes.
so that one still needs to come back to the commission, probably in the next meeting.
So for the month of February, we had 2 new hires, which were the 2 additional laborers that we hired for the strike team to make the strike team fully staffed. So those were the 2, with 1 resignation, 2 retirements, and 1 workers' comp claim.
That's all out of Public Works?
No, so the 1 resignation was 1 from Public Works, so we do currently have an opening in utilities.
One opening only.
Yes, for utilities, which Tom did hire somebody today.
Okay.
So no opening. And then the 2 retirements that we have was not somebody currently retiring that is staffed. It's someone that pulled out the retirement that was that worked here previously throughout the years, that pulled out the retirement after a couple of years of being retired. And then we had 1 worker comp claim, which was in Public Works.
Are we fully staffed and everybody else?
So right now we currently have 9 openings, which are the 4 that we have in PD, 1 in finance for the accounts payable bookkeeper, 1 part-time rec, 2 in Public Works, 1 for utilities, 1 for streets, and then we have 1 in the parks department. So we currently have 9.
Good report.
are
Anybody?
lifeguards included in that? Are we?
So we do hire 9 to 10 lifeguards for for part-time, and we already have 7 that applied, which I have already sent for drug screening and physicals. So we should have everybody already mostly for lifeguards. We had a big response when I posted it on Facebook.
Thank you, ladies. Anybody else? All right, thank you. Good job. You got something left?
No, that was it. Thank you.
Parks?
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, City Manager. For the record, Armando Viela, Director of Parks and Building Maintenance. If y'all have any questions for me on the report I submitted, I did attach a spreadsheet also with some of the projects that we have currently ongoing and some of the stuff that we're looking to hopefully do here before the end of this fiscal year and going into next, or budgeting for next fiscal year.
What's the 5% pending with the dome
So.
lighting? And is Is
We
that-
have,
Uh-huh.
we have everything installed, so the only thing that was pending was, there was a couple of wall pack security lights that were gonna go on the exterior of the shelter that's there, the pavilion shelter. So
Is
the
it gonna
con-
get lighting?
Yeah, same thing. So it's gonna do area lighting around the.
But
the pavilion.
inside, under?
No, no, it's gonna be on the exterior. So it'll just be for the area like where the bleachers are. Some of it's gonna shine towards the restrooms. Some of it may shine a little closer to where the playground is.
When do we get light shining underneath it?
That I'm working on that separately. So that's actually on the breakdown there as far as I'm hoping to do the surfacing of that basketball court. I don't know if y'all are aware, we did get it vandalized. We had a car go in there and do some donuts, and so we have the striping kind of wore off. The surface is slick. So I did reach out to a vendor who does surfacing for basketball courts, soccer fields, stuff like that. I've already obtained quotes for it. We went out and scouted it. So that would be part of that project, is that we would resurface that basketball court, stripe it, and then add lighting to the underneath the pavilion area so that we can use it for games or practices in the evenings.
I have a question on your reports. I didn't see, do we have an idea of how much we've collected from the rental fees from the fields?
I have an idea, sir, but I don't have that number. I can get it for you.
Okay. Reason why I'm asking is because I want to make sure that we keep an idea for that number, because I know that you have upcoming projects for those fields, but I want to make sure that that money doesn't get lost somewhere, because that's what we're planning on using to return, right? So,
Yeah, so finance did help out and they created that account so that, and we added that account to the rental form. So whenever they go to pay it, the ladies that are collecting the payment know what accounts that money needs to go to.
the reason why I want you to keep tabs of it is because I think we all kind of took a lot of flap for it, but I think that in the long run, people are going to see the benefit of it, and it'd be nice for us to be able to kind of give back that information as to what was raised and what it was used for. So just kind of looking for that.
Yes, sir.
In the future.
You wanna touch on the lights that got converted to LED?
Oh, yeah, so we did, I included that in the report also. So at Collier Park, along with some of the other maintenance stuff that we took care of, we had found several outages. I think it was a total of 6 or 7 AEP poles that were out. I reached out to AP, we got them out there. Sam, the supervisor, and myself, we met out there with the gentleman, so they were able to get 4 of them repaired, but 3 of them, the fixtures were completely burned out. So they did retrofit them to LED lamps, so we've already gotten those replaced. Like I was telling Mr. Perez, that's gonna be part of the maintenance plan moving forward for the parks guys, right? Is that at least twice a month, we're gonna be going out there, identifying outages, marking them, reporting them, so we can, AP can either come in and repair them or replace anything that's broken and not functioning.
I do have one deal. I noticed that you have a playground mulch for parks and so forth.
Excuse me.
What I didn't see was, do we have anything, or are we planning on replacing any of those swing sets and other things that you had mentioned are out of compliance?
Yes, sir.
Some of the other parks.
Yeah, so the ones that are out of, well, I shouldn't say out of compliance, because technically they could be considered grandfathered in. We do just want to update them and make sure that they're safe, right? So like the one at HEB Park, we're going to be removing that play structure, because I did have a vendor, an actual playground, 2 vendors come in and tell us it was not safe. The price to repair would be more than for us to just purchase a new playground system. So the plan there is that we would remove the barrier, the mulch that's in that playground. We would use it for the swing sets that are there at HEB Park, so that we can set up the perimeter, the barrier, come back and backfill with mulch. So we'll be doing the same with the other swing sets, but I am gonna be budgeting for that for this coming fiscal year, because the price of mulch it gets pretty pricey, and even just the barriers for the playgrounds, it gets pretty expensive.
Have we ever considered maybe the cost difference in, instead of mulch, using kind of like the foam that I know I've seen in Wasco and Harlingen, as far as, I guess it's like a safe padding for the kids and stuff?
Well, there's the other options. They do pour in place, which is like a rubber surfacing that gets poured in, you know. The only thing with that is, in a lot of playgrounds, especially with the little ones, they like to pick at it. So the maintenance on it can get a little pricey, especially when, you know, you're talking about just an area that needs to be replaced. There's also artificial surfacing like turf, you know, they'll do a 4-inch pad underneath, and then the surfacing will actually be turf grass. So there are other options out there, you know, obviously they're gonna be a little more expensive.
But the upkeep isn't as much as what you have.
It wouldn't be as much yearly maintenance as the mulch, because with the rain, the mulch will wash away, the kids throw it, you know, so On the mulch, that's gonna be something that we're gonna have to be budgeting for every year.
Could we just maybe look at that when it comes time to budgeting on what the difference would be and just kind of have that option?
Yes, sir. And any new installations that we do, we're gonna try to go that route, right? Just because the cost of mulch is just constantly going up and it gets
Yeah.
pretty expensive to keep up with it.
Cool.
All right, actually, just be honest with you, I hate to be positive all the time with all these things, but honestly, yesterday, I was showing the report on your plans to a guy who's he complains quite a bit, man, and he was pretty impressed with the list. So hopefully you walk the talk. It looks like you are.
We're on
It
it,
looks like
sir.
you are.
We're on it. And I don't know if I included it, but today we did have a meeting and I was talking to Mr. Perez about it. He helped me in scouting some other areas. I met with an organization from Valley Disc Golf Store here in McAllen. So they're a big group of disc golfers. We've been getting, requests also to look at possibly installing a disc golf course here in Mercedes. So we've already scouted some areas. I've got them to agree to design the course for free. They'll come up with the design. They'll help us in obtaining some of the equipment that we'll need. So the cost to actually do that after the design phase and everything is usually what gets a little more expensive. So they're willing to donate their time to do that. So
Wow.
that's something that we may be able to accomplish here in the summertime if all goes well.
And then I think a couple of us got contacted by a guy that wants to start and I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of this stuff, but we just need to put it on y'all's radar for soccer. And I really don't know what all we're doing. I know we're probably gonna get a report from you here in a little bit, so I'll ask him. But just it's on just be on y'all's radar about
Yes, sir.
soccer league. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate the,
And I think we also have go ahead,
Rec Center.
Rec Center and then PD.
Good evening, Mayor Commission. As far as with the rec center, I mean, we're moving along smoothly. We're wrapping up some of our leagues right now with our kids, as far as our age divisions from 5, 6 up the way to 11 and 12, boys and girls divisions. Finishing up tournaments this week. Still going with our after-school program. Getting ready now to start registration for our adult leagues with co-ed volleyball and men's basketball league. Working on a couple of other programs, but I don't want to jump the gun, so I'll mention that as it comes up. Been working a lot more with Mondo. We communicate a lot more. We met with Maggie Rodriguez. She's with the Pumas Female Tackle Football League. So they're going to be practicing at the Dome, and they're going to have a couple of games out there on Saturdays and stuff. So they're just things that we're working on as far as leagues to keep our numbers up higher and stuff like that. Going to start getting ready next month for our summer program, which will be moving back over to the rec. To elaborate a little bit more on the lifeguard status, still working with Lee. Lee has been working with us year-round under contract services. He's upkeeping the pool. We've been working as far as with the pump room, with the system and everything, getting it clean. Wanted to get a little earlier start with the lifeguards, so it's good that we got the applicants. I met with Adam Diaz last week. He's over at the Far Natatorium, put out some flyers out there, and, we kind of meet on a quarterly basis. We've kind of gotten away from it, but maybe we're going to start up again. We would meet with other cities as far as, because lifeguards was always an ongoing issue to getting lifeguards available for us. I know Lee's reached out to Jocelyn, I think her name is, or Janice, I can't remember. She's from La Feria, because she needs to get her certification done. So we're going to be doing a lifeguard certification class here with Lee again, of course. So we're just trying to get in recruits. So we went out and he reached out to the school district. They were going to put it out on their little bulletin and stuff like that. So if I know Mr. Howe's an educator. If you know any kids that are graduating or anybody who wants to be a lifeguard, we're going to be coming up on these classes real soon and stuff. So
You'll have little flyers we can.
yeah, we have a flyer and stuff. We
Give
can
them on
post
the
it.
PE
We
classes.
actually, yeah, we did forward it to the school district and stuff and everything, so they should have put it out, but we can resubmit it.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I had a few people come up to me and ask about if we're going to be offering swimming classes.
Yes, we do. We start those in June, and last year we had 2 sessions. First
Cool.
session, we were able to book at least about 40 kids, and I think the second session, we got about 15 to 20 kids. The second session was more on a demand service and stuff.
Okay.
Because we had people that obviously missed out on the first session, and then some, maybe their kid got sick or something, we let them make it up on the second one.
That's awesome.
So,
man.
and then as far as soccer goes, I know there was a point brought up about a men's soccer league. We have worked in the past with a gentleman from soccer. Now that we got lighting on the dome, we've been getting a lot more requests, and Mando knows about that too and stuff like that. So we're trying to coordinate a schedule to not only, accommodate, because Taifa's out there right now. Some of the kids are out there. But with all due respect, we don't want these organizations to get ownership of the fields that it's just us. No, we're working with Taifa. We're working with also with, like I said, with Maggie Rodriguez from the Pumas female tackle team. Soccer had already reached out to us again. We use them as far as the people. If it's the same gentleman that I'm thinking that you all are talking about, he's helped us with our soccer leagues in the summer with the kids, because we also have our kids go out there and do soccer in the summers in June. Now, we were doing it on Saturdays, but only in the mornings because it would get too hot. But now that we have lights, we're probably going to kick our soccer leagues into the weekdays in the evenings. That's one of the things I discussed with Martin Johnson. He's my assistant. So this just kind of make it easier, just kind of keep it in flow, because our leagues always happen Monday through Friday. And so Saturdays would be open for other organizations that are interested in using the fields and stuff like that.
Mayor, I just want to make one quick point. That's real quick. I want to thank you, Maureen and Mondo over there, for you guys coordinating and getting together on that stuff. I think that's pretty cool because it's going to work hand in hand for sure. One of the things that I just want to kind of emphasize is moving forward, we have a bunch of space out there and a lot of land. And I think that moving forward, we need to figure out what field we're going to allocate for what.
Right.
I was kind of thrown off a bit when I found one of the lights in the middle of the field, but he clarified it that it runs east to west for the little kids.
Yes.
But now that we're going to do adult leagues and so forth, maybe what we need to do is figure out like, okay, this big space, this is obviously going to be for your bigger fields, your bigger leagues, right? Things like that, because we can utilize the space. I'm glad that you guys are kind of putting your foot down about this whole, nobody has ownership to the field.
Right.
It kind of already started, but I think you guys kind of nipped it in the bud about kind of first come, first serve. So I appreciate that. And a lot of other organizations do. They may not, I don't know if they've told you, but in the past, there's been certain people that kind of take that over, and I'm hoping that we can put a stop to it. Frank, I know your guys have been out there a few times, kind of, letting them know about the parking, things like that, keeping them off. And I think we had discussed what we could do to maybe put something there to keep people away from there. But I definitely want us to utilize that space properly. Moving forward, I know we've discussed how we could illuminate the walking trail, but if we continue to work on the lighting for the fields, and I kind of think about the park at airport over there in Weslaco. They don't have any lights on the walking trails, but the lights that are on the fields are bright enough that it illuminates the trail. So you kind of kill two birds with one stone. Instead of getting, the kind of, lighting that would have to be put all throughout the trail, we could illuminate different parts of the field, keep it on from a certain time, and then close it and shut it off at a certain time. And I reference, again, Weslaco's airport because I think it's open until 10:30, then the lights go out, then the gate is closed, they lock it. I think PD goes, they lock it, and that's it. You're not allowed in the park after that. And that's going to be key because obviously this park in particular has been targeted many, many, many times, man. So I think that's something that maybe we can kind of model and look at to say, okay, maybe instead of focusing on illuminating the whole trail, could we illuminate different parts of the field that would offer illumination to those trails that people can walk in? Because I understand, like, during the fall, people want to go out there and walk because it's a really fun trail. Problem is it's super dark, and a lot of ladies have concerns, and rightfully so, because it's pitch black. So it's just something that when we move forward, I'd like for us to look into at evaluating what fields we're going to use for what. Could we offer lighting in those fields and at the same time offer people an opportunity to walk and then let them know, hey, have signage, 10:30, these lights are off, period, or whatever. But that they know that, hey, at this time, that's that. But I definitely want to commend you guys in working together on that. Thank you all for that. And most definitely thank you guys for putting your foot down with these groups and saying, look, this is the way that we're operating. Everybody was so used to the way things were done before, but now it's a new era. So I want to thank both of y'all for that, man. Thank you guys. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner. Yep. And finally, on the same note, on the stuff with the donuts and all that, I think if you find out how much it's gonna cost to fix that, we could probably use posts and heavy wire and just create walkways in and out from the parking area so they can get there. And then you can build towards cameras and then build towards an LPR. If you designate where people come in and out, you can put an LPR nearby and you secure it. And I know that's kind of pie in the sky. What I'm saying is we can do that a little at a time, yeah, every year. But certainly blocking out how people can come in and out. That, and you can put a fake camera, they wouldn't know it, you know, because you're telling them you can only come in and out through here, and then you gotta have cameras for the people who walk in. So just something for the future to, you know, start building on little by little, maybe a grant for that as well. So thank you. We appreciate you guys, both you. And I echo what Commissioner Martinez says. Good job on the communication. And then the final person, the chief.
On up.
Good for everybody else, but,
Good evening, Mayor and City Commission. I'll start off with an acknowledgement real quick on our training, since the month was very busy for our training.
can't hear you.
There
you go.
There you
Good.
go. So 3 of our supervisors were awarded with their FBI Leadership Trilogy Award. That was Lieutenant Orlando Diaz, Sergeant of Patrol Sal Gonzalez, and Sergeant of Patrol Juan Cuba, who's here present. They completed all 3 phases. It was part of our goal for the agency to be awarded their Trilogy Agency Award, which we should complete in the month of May. So in the month of May, we should complete Sergeant Bocanera, Sergeant George Diaz, and Lieutenant Jesus Rodriguez. And that's the deadline. They're already registered for those trainings. And then after that, we do have all our supervisors that have gone through this extensive leadership training courses. Also, it was a busy month for us in the planning phases for the RGVLS stock show, which ended up to be good. Also, a lot of training that were done, from Narcan training, TICO in-house training services. Another one that was very busy for us was the alert training. I'm sure, Mary, you're very familiar with that. And it can get difficult sometimes fitting into those classes right now. But that training is mandated now for everybody, from up to the chief of police, and I'm sure maybe the sheriff, you know, everybody in law enforcement. If you wear a badge and a gun, you're going to go through this training. I'm sorry?
Sheriff got shot.
You got shot? Yeah. Well, it's yeah. So they have to go, you know, after a while, everybody has to go through this extensive training, and it's not like you're sitting behind the classroom type of work. So we had to work with some of our guys that came back with minor injuries and things like that, because it is pretty extensive. So that was done. 2 of our EROs also completed part of their SRO training, which is also required for them to be working in the campuses, in the school campuses. Our DEA TFO has been doing amazing. Maybe I can provide something separately with her, with the ways that she's been getting the DAGs and the extensive training. I know that she is currently flying to Atlanta for a TFO school as well. So that's another thing. The community event preparation meetings that we've had, we were extensive planning for our RGVLS, and that really took a lot of our planning facing time for that type of event. We assisted in other events like Fiesta La Feria, Citrus. We're planning for the Citrus Parade in Mission and the Marathon in Harlingen. But a lot of it had to do with our RGVLS, the planning phases for our traffic control and things like that, which went pretty good. The thing we were getting really prepared for, and I'm sure it'll be brought up, is we preparing for our Autism Awareness Month, which is next month. And during that month, what we're doing is a lot of the planning, table topping phases. And we came up with different ways to, I guess, prepare law enforcement officers when they approach and they encounter people with autism, deaf and hard of hearing. I think it was Alzheimer's and dementia, even as far as diabetic and different things, so that we'll get that data to collect it and store it properly. The part that we met was, what are we going to do with that data once we collect it? Because we do want our first responders to be better trained And obviously, if somebody suffers from that type of disability, we want to have that data collected so that if we were to encounter them on the streets or they go missing or something happens, we have better reports and better service to provide when it comes to that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what I have so far on my end. I don't know if there's any questions on anything else that you would want to know regarding
Well, I
PD.
loved all the numbers, but I really like this better.
Yes, sir.
Because I think it adds a lot of
Detailed information.
yeah, some color to the picture.
Yes, sir.
And a much broader scope of the activities that y'all do. So thank you for that.
I'd like to compliment Chief from the police department, the fire department, and Public Works. They all work together in preparing for the livestock show. From Public Works, cleaning the spaces, along the route of the parade and helping them sweep the area before they got started, to setting up the tent several times and moving it, I don't know how many times, taking it down 3 times. That's not a small endeavor. But most importantly, of course, the traffic management part. Traffic was moving, flowing. Yeah, there was some delays and sometimes when there was really, really heavy peak times. But for the majority of the time, it was flowing very quickly in and out. Yeah, it was moving. From the EMS side, I know there were several incidents and the response time was there. There are some things we can improve. We're we're gonna work together with
Yes,
the
sir.
livestock show guys and their team just to make sure we continue to improve every year. But kudos to everybody that participated in helping out. I know code enforcement was out there checking permits for, the folks that are selling food and all that. So everybody did their part in trying to make sure we had a successful event. So kudos to everyone that participated.
Yes, sir.
And also, Chief, if I could, I like to joke around a lot, especially about my wife, and I know that she's been involved in that autism thing. But all joking aside, I want to tell you, Chief, that the way you guys have taken off, you and Javier, I just can't tell you enough. I have 2 nephews that are autistic, and I don't think people realize how many lives are impacted by autism. Because it's not something that everybody talks about every day until something bad happens. And I can tell you as a police officer, the amount of times that we've had to injure or worse people because we didn't know their situation and could have handled it better. And the what you guys have done in a short amount of time has just been tremendous. If you guys can get all of that done like you did, and I know that I don't want to steal your thunder because you're going to put it out, but
No.
but I for you guys,
going
that
out
don't
very
know,
shortly, so.
Yeah, this happened in like the matter of a couple of weeks. They put together a car. It's just it's really nice. Hopefully you can send a picture of it to
Yes, sir.
everybody, right?
It was put out on
Everybody did, yeah. So yeah, well that was by accident, but. But
they drove you
yeah,
around,
and
so
then I think also they're what he's talking about identifying people. They've even made placards and stickers so that people, when you pull over a car, for people that don't know, and I'm not gonna apologize for taking a while to talk about this because it's very important, especially when something goes wrong.
Yes, sir.
When people don't communicate well because of the situation, lots of times law enforcement takes it as aggression, and there's no way of knowing whether they're doing it because they're on drugs or they're just mean or if they're autistic. And this just gives us another tool, but it works both ways. The officer can still take all the precautions because they can still hurt you, but at the same time, he knows whether to ask for help, back up a little bit, wait for something, and that just changes what happens. So I want to give you guys kudos as well, both of you guys for taking on that role, and hopefully we can really do a good job of putting it out there and make sure that people know how important the autistic community is to the city of Mercedes.
Yes, sir.
and what we're willing to do to make them feel safe in our community and their families. So I wanted to thank you for that, both of you guys.
Thank you, sir.
So I think that's all we've got for presentations. Moving on to executive session, chapter 551, Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with attorney, section 551.072, deliberation regarding projects. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make a motion to.
Motion by Commissioner Martinez, have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
8:17, I call this meeting back open session. Next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn,
I
Mayor.
have a motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Dr. Saldana. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. It's 8:17 PM.